But the one country that still has a long way to go with respect to that is Argentina.
Oh, jeez, man, that country's founded on the ideal that they're going to make it a white Europe country over here in the Western Hemisphere.
And a lot of people don't realize.
Yeah,
a lot of people don't realize that.
That's why a lot of Germans, after after the Second World War, escaped to go to places like Argentina, where they thought they could be sheltered,
insulated. Yeah.
That's right. So that history is real.
Yeah.
But my point was that in Europe, historically, in recent times, there's always occasionally been rifts between the black community and the government, whether it's England, whether it's France, or any other European country.
Yeah.
But it's always been diplomacy between the blacks in this country and the government, even if it's been a riotous situation. It's never been that, okay, we want to go against whites on the street or in our neighborhood, right? But what you see happening now in certain communities because of the white nationalists in America happening is, on occasion, you see whites in Europe acting out and trying to take their frustrations out on blacks, which never happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was never these men on the street. Like Europe had gone beyond that. And it had become quite liberal.
Oh, yeah. I mean, especially if you look at entertainment, right? A lot of very good, A-class acts, particularly in the music industry, they, earned a very good living in Europe, particularly in places like France. Nina Simone, John Coltrane, various iconic jazz artists, even Billie Holiday. A lot of
as recent as what's your name? I see on the tip of my tongue, the black
Lena Horne?
Turner.
Tina Turner, yes.
As recent as Tina Turner, Europe has always been a more liberal place to go and be an entertainer.
And their minds are much more, as you mentioned, liberal with respect to their musical taste. They're more appreciative of all kinds of music. Some of the greatest concerts, from reggae to jazz to pop to rock, are by far more consistently promoted and produced in huge stadiums in Europe. I think the most record number of attendees at concerts on average would be concerts that are actually held in Europe, where hundreds of thousands of people in open door environments go to support talent from all over the world.
And Glenn, it's very interesting you should say that, because the one area where you want to have a successful track and field meet is in Europe. They're going to fill these stands. But you see what recently happened with Michael Johnson over here, trying to create a similar situation. Matter of fact, he's bankrupt over it.
Oh, really?
Europe.
What happened? What happened? I'm not aware of that. What happened?
Yeah, he had his league going.
Professional league.
Yeah.
Professional athletics league.
Yeah, he had his league going and ended up, what was it called? Ended up failing. And now, man, that's all he is in disputes to try to pay back athletes. And the problem is Michael had promises he couldn't keep. And the thing is, World Athletics, which, I kind of get the inside scoop anyway, because my first wife is directly involved.
Right.
And, when he was getting involved, she said, listen, man, it's going down a rocky road, because we wanted to support him, but he's told us no, because he don't think basically we as a governing body give enough. So he's going to do it better. And only to find out for himself that
don't work like that.
When it comes to televising and the support of your country for that particular sport, Americans are they're big on American football, baseball,
basketball,
yeah. But
even hockey.
Yeah, you can't get the type of support in track and field like Europe. Europe now, track and field is
huge,
just as big as soccer.
Yeah,
they fill stadiums.
I wouldn't say just as big as soccer. No.
Oh, you gotta You need to look at the Diamond League.
I look at the Diamond League, but
same type of stadium.
Yeah, but you gotta remember the sheer numbers are completely pale in comparison to football in Europe. You're talking about Holland, you're talking about Italy, you're talking about France, you're talking about Spain, you're talking about England.
Yeah, but the difference is you're talking about organized league and the number of people involved on the team, et cetera, et cetera. I agree with you. But I'm talking about when an event is held. If you've got a stadium that seats 100,000 people, in Europe, you can fill it, whether it's soccer or track and field.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
Gotcha.
You may not have like a league where it's the difference with soccer in Europe is there's a match every week.
Yeah, and to be quite honest, athletes who are track and field athletes are prone to injury, and they also are vulnerable and susceptible to having need for their bodies to recover.
Yeah, but my point is this.
So you won't have meets like every, real big meets with the top athletes in every one of those meets every week, like you would see a football team playing against a rival team every week.
You do now, Glenn. You know why? Yeah? Because now that athletes are professionals by the number, even when an athlete is out through injury, there are so many to replace him that are at the same level. It's no longer where, like in my era, where a guy like me would stand out. I would be a dime a dozen today, because the difference here, if you are, say, a Jamaican and you want to compete in the sport, you're not going to hang around the Western Hemisphere because you're not going to make no money and you're not going to get into the world-class events. So you're going to go straight to Europe to compete.
Yeah, because you want to compete against the best anyway to improve your own ability, right?
But not only that, it's more like a national sport in Europe than it is over here in the Western Hemisphere, where they mainly look at American football and those other American sports as big events.
Yeah.
We have, and that's what happened to Michael Johnson. Philly Stadium. He couldn't even Philly Stadium in Jamaica.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Yeah, he could, because it's not as big. The only time you could Philly Stadium in Jamaica is when you have champs.
Yeah.
Then you have the high school champs. So, or you'd have to have something like the Commonwealth Games or something there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think he underestimated that, and
and probably seeing the iconic track athlete Usain Bolt being from there, he probably misread and had the wrong perception with respect to the popularity and appeal for a major turnout for such an event without. I
knew right away if you couldn't fill the stadium down in Jamaica, like he took his next meet to Florida, and it was even worse.
Wow.
And then he had to cancel it after that. He had to cancel it after millions were
spent,
agreed upon.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so it all fell apart.
Well, one event that's been going on for many, many years that's always pretty much sold out is the Prefontaine event.
Yeah, well, America, you know the difference with that? Let me tell you the difference with the Prefontaine. It's a part of the European Diamond League.
Oh, okay.
It's the only one in America that's a part of the European Diamond League. So it can fail because even the Europeans will go to see that one.
Right,
in America.
And not only go to see it, but it's full of European athletes competing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it has a history because Prefontaine met with an untimely death, and he never actually won gold or anything like that in the Olympics, did he? He was a hopeful.
No. But still, Oregon is the track capital of the United States.
Right.
Why, I don't know, because it's not the ideal climate for sprinters.
Okay.
But it is for distance runners.
Yeah, but he was a distance runner. He was a distance runner.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But it being the premier track state in the United States, like, I guess only in August, the sprinters are going to want to go there.
Right.
But the Diamond League, I mean, the World Athletics, organizing of the Diamond League is so strong and so heavily supported.
Right.
Again, Michael Johnson tried to compete with that, but you're talking about years of development versus some guy coming up thinking,
and a whole lot of money you got to have.
Make it happen.
Yeah, you got to have a whole lot of money in the barrel too, because the athletes are going for the money.
Sponsors don't make. You can get all the money to promote the event all you want. If you haven't built a fan base, over time, and sometimes you could be kicking yourself in the butt.
Yeah, but I would have figured you would need the huge sums of resources through financial support to attract the top athletes for the purse money, and the top athletes, the thinking would be that the fans that really like those top athletes would then support by attending the events that they participate in, particularly in countries like America.
Yeah. Well, his mistake was not reaching out to World Athletics or even accepting their invitation to be a part of it to help him.
Wow.
That was his mistake, thinking, I'm going to control this money because I know I can give the athletes more money than you can. Now, that ego kind of came back to haunt you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The state, but you can Google it and read about it.
Right.
Amazing.
I'm going to do that because that interests me.
Unfortunate.
I wasn't aware.
But man. Yeah.
So back to now the World Cup is this year, right? Do you support or do you follow English Premier League?
Quite a bit. Right now, who's making a debate whether they're going to go or not? Germany. And they seem to be supported by 5 other nations that are rethinking whether they're actually going to participate in the World Cup.
Is that because of the war and the tariffs and that kind of thing?
No, because of Donald Trump and the ICE thing and turning down a lot of athletes that are foreign, that are non-American. It's a situation because remember the recent cross country championships that was held by World Athletics. The Ethiopian senior or junior team or under tennis team, they called it, couldn't come because of visa problems.
Oh, what?
Yeah, man. Yeah, it was a big, that was held in Florida recently. Yeah,
wow.
that was a world
Ethiopian cross country and distance runners, whether it be from the 800, the half mile, all the way through to the 10,000 meters, and the marathon. It can't be denied. It's not a competition if you don't have Ethiopians or Kenyans.
Don't deny them.
Mercy. It's just ridiculous. And the one thing that has always transcended politics has been sports and entertainment. Well, sports is entertainment. Because if you go back to the days of the Gestapo and Hitler in his prime, the World Olympics was in Germany and Jesse Owens won everything.
Yeah. This guy's worse than Hitler. Because it's not he, like I said, has already proved it.
Mercy.
They got the World Cup coming, and guess what? They got the Olympics in LA. So, they gotta get rid of it. I don't know what's gonna happen. They better impeach him or something. Something's gotta happen.
Now, is the Olympics is next year?
The Olympics is every even year. So what it'll be
28. It'll be 28 then.
Boy, I'm lost track, boy.
Because this is 26.
Yeah, well, Trump will be out of there. When it will really be there? No, he'll still be there, really.
28, yeah. Trump will still be there.
So you see the problem? They got to get it sorted, or it's going to be. The commitments are.
Yeah, he's destined to leave office in November of 2028, I believe, when they would have their presidential election, the next one, because the last one was 24.
This Olympics.
Yeah, I know.
Carrying on this Olympics. I mean, you know, on his term. He
will ensure all. He will ensure
America. What denying this?
Yeah.
Coming in and beating America.
He'll ensure that America wins every gold medal up for grabs by visas. But listen. The one thing that has always been rather curious to me is how sheltered his 6'9" or 8" son Barron has been, insulated from the public. You don't hear much of him at all. I think he's currently in university, but
we heard he's making a lot of money there. It's worth over 150 million already. I mean,
who, Barron? Who, Barron?
Yes, man, he's hooking up his family, man. Oh, man.
Who, Barron? That's the youngest Trump. I'm not talking about Donald Trump Jr. and the other brother.
You're talking about the youngest of the youngest. No, I haven't heard too much about it.
Right,
sorry, I'm thinking of the one that's in college.
That's Barron.
Barron is the one there.
He's the real tall one with the dark hair.
He's making money, man. I don't know.
Well, all of the Trumps, when you look at it, they're all making billions because, Donald Trump is utilizing his office to develop relationships by extension in a direct way. Using his family to negotiate these deals for golf courses and hotels and all manner of things. So he's really leveraging the Oval Office, to secure wealth and personal gain, particularly for his family. As well as his friends.
What's happening? It's not supposed to be happening there, is it?
Well, that's the one thing is that if the Democrats gain the confidence of the electorate during the midterm elections and they assume the majority of representatives in the Congress, meaning both the Senate as well as the House of Representatives, I think there's going to be some real challenges for Donald Trump to escape the long arm of the law if indeed it is determined he is, worthy of being brought to, I don't know if you say worthy, but if he's culpable of being brought to justice by way of some of the things that have been cited by various politicians in Congress.
That can happen if the Democrats are the majority in
House, right? Exactly. Right. Yeah. Now, I wonder even with that, if he's able to pardon himself. I know that the deal with Richard Nixon when he was what do you call it?
Watergate.
Impeached, right, over Watergate. He made a deal with his vice president, Gerald Ford. Look, I'll resign and I'm gone. You'll be the president as long as you pardon me.
Right.
And that's actually what happened. There was the deal before the deal.
I have no doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no doubt that's how it would have to go. But again, this guy's like a snake. Maybe he manages to find his way in and stay in, and it's very interesting. One thing, I've lost faith with American politics. I mean, they had the type of democracy we all believed in.
Yeah.
But I think they've proven to the world that their system is not intolerable. You know what I mean?
That's right. It's not infallible. That's right. That's very, very true. Yeah. And it's not only with respect to politics when it comes to economics. I mean, you had the SNL debacle You had the subprime loan debacle. You had Madoff with the Ponzi schemes debacle. So all through the history of America, you've had within the system, other systems beating the system. You've had organized crime, and I'm not talking about black on black crime in Chicago or Atlanta or Washington, D.C. I'm talking about crime that was real organized crime, with the mafiosa, Italian-based organizations that ruled a lot of what was going on in that system, whether it was the docks or whether it was drugs or whether it was prostitution. For years. And in fact, the ironic thing is that the fall of Batista in Cuba was as a result of his relationship with organized crime, who he was allowing to conduct their business as they would conduct it in America, but even a little bit more blatantly via prostitution and gambling in Cuba. And that's when Fidel, seeing that being the trajectory, galvanized through his socialist ideology, people in Cuba that were being exploited to no end, and of course, the majority of whom were black. And he came down out of the mountains, and on New Year's Eve? Can't remember the exact year. Is when
1958. Don't say 59, but I think it was 58.
New Year's Eve ruled into Havana.
Yeah.
And that's when all of the privileged white Cubans fled to Florida.
Yeah.
And not just Florida, many also fled to New Jersey. New Jersey has a huge Cuban population.
And that's why the United States has been anti-Cuba ever since.
And that's why.
That's mafia idea.
That's the single reason why. There's no other practical reason. They could talk about ideology and all of that, but Cuba's no superpower and has never been. And the other thing is that America's got a microscope on Cuba because they got Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah, exactly.
It's been there forever. And so their operatives are in and about all around Cuban society. Yeah. Speaking like Cubans, looking like Cubans, and Cuban intelligence counteracted to a degree, especially when it came to protecting their leader, Fidel Castro, and the leadership of the country. They were not able to get to him, even though several attempts of assassination were made. But, he was a very smart guy to, evade, being assassinated for those many years that he held power in Cuba. A very, very interesting place. Yeah.
I that's why I often tell people study the Spanish-American War, because you'll realize why that is the case.
Mm-hmm.
The reality is that the compromise for America when they decided to conquer Spain to become the superpower they are.
Mm-hmm.
The main war was fought in Cuba. And the compromise was, if Cuba helps us conquer the Spanish, then we'll leave you alone.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to take Puerto Rico and every other country that they have, including over in the Pacific, Guam and the Philippines at that time.
Yep.
And, of course, all of the western states, which are now California and right over to the Rocky Mountains.
Yeah.
And, of course,
now you also got to include the Pacific Islands and the Caribbean as well, the U.S. Virgin Islands, as well as Hawaii.
The Virgin Islands came later. I'll tell you that history.
No, but I'm just saying as far as America's colonization of certain
my point
territories.
Is, at that time, that's when they negotiated with Cuba. They signed a treaty where they have Guantanamo Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's how they ended up with that part of Cuba.
Yeah.
right, from that history, the Spanish-American War. The U.S. Virgin Islands is another story, which is interesting because for Trump to even touch Greenland made no sense because Denmark and the United States already had a treaty to U.S. leave Greenland alone. In return, we'll give you all Caribbean islands, which are the U.S. Virgin Islands. Right? So that's how that went, right? Why the U.S. has the U.S. Virgin Islands. So that's what was making me smile through that whole debacle I was saying about.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Like, this guy's willing to break a treaty which was an American advantage at the time that it happened.
Yeah.
Because Greenland was thought of then as no special place.
Yeah, docile. But the other thing, what they're saying though is that the resources is what is under the land there. I don't know if it's oil or gas or whatever.
That's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about.
Of course, using the military strategic positioning as an excuse, but
but that doesn't make sense either because they're a part of NATO, Denmark. So there's the insulation for military. Yeah, man, it's unbelievable.
Trump didn't get the memo.
All right, my man. Look, I'm going to take a few more calls, man. Always a pleasure chatting with you. Enjoy the remainder of your evening. All right, take care. Let's see, I got a note here. Still doing Mary Prince story. I'm going to do it before. Someone asking about the Mary Prince story. I will do that. Not sure if I'm going to do it today because I have to. I have to just. I don't think I bought it with me today, to be honest, actually, but I will. So before the month is out, I'll certainly do that, and I might just be able to do it today as well. But I'm going to play, since it's so fresh, the following day after the Super Bowl, the attack on Bad Bunny and his Super Bowl performance. Donald Trump attacked the guy. I don't know. It's crazy stuff. It makes for great entertainment for me anyway. Magic 102.7. Good afternoon, you.
Hey, Brother Glenn. How you feeling today, buddy?
I'm good. How you doing?
Well, like I said, I've been predicting the boys going up the river. So anyway, that's the way I talk. You know that. And like I said, there's so much going on, man. You know what really threatened them? When China gave Trump 48 hours of returning their oil ships. Because their oil ships were supposed to go to China. So the big bag from China gave Trump, I keep saying Trump. I messed up with his English language. Trump ultimatum, right? This is what I'm saying. I mean, it's up there, the news is all there. And I don't listen to the media news, I just podcast. I do what I do. But, he's out. But he's got one more journey. And that's his period.
Okay.
For the Epstein files. That's all I want to say.
I hear you.
Okay.
All right. Magic 102.7. Good afternoon. You on the air.
Hey, good afternoon. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How you doing, sweetheart?
I'm good. I just wanted to apologize to you.
Why?
Because you were correct.
I was?
Yes.
Okay.
When the OBA was talking, they said they were going to go to the full membership because our Constitution calls for the full membership.
That's correct.
In order to remove the leader.
Mm-hmm.
And they did not.
They did not.
They only went to caucus.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said.
Yep.
They did. And they said, rather than they were forced to, they had to. I don't think they were forced to or had to, but anyway, that's their business. And to me, now what I'm saying is, if they can break their own constitution like that, what that says about any other law?
Well,
we can go down the line.
Yeah, and there's the old adage that is often quoted, that when someone or some organization or business shows you who they are, believe them.
You have to believe them. Remember, we can go to all these things. Remember, they said, we was going to study the work permit thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then they came out and wrecked it right away.
And tried to hijack it undercover, going into the House of Assembly like about 4 o'clock or so in the morning.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. So it's going to be interesting.
I mean, they did a few lies that were just blatant lies, and you come to yourself and you go, what?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was all great lies.
Yeah.
And then they do this little PR thing, and, that's supposed to get people all excited. Oh, we didn't have no other choice. When they did that airport, remember, we had to.
Yeah.
We didn't have no other choice.
Yeah,
we're not going to be, but we will not borrow any money.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we had to. Because if you look under the
hood, as they would say, under the hood, as they would say.
We looked under the hood, and they said we were $3,000 in debt.
Lies.
Because that was the case. Then that meant when you got in, and it was only $1.5 billion. You should have been better off.
That's right.
You should have been so surprised because you were already in that type of day.
Exactly.
But anyway, like I said, for the people who vote for them, that's your choice.
Yeah.
But they're showing you who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of them say they weren't. I don't want to use the wrong word. They didn't say they lie, and it doesn't. What they say? No, they didn't say. Anyway, whatever word metaphor they used for it.
Yeah. It wasn't an ambush.
They said we mislead you, and we don't care about it. I'm gonna find out what the exact word.
Okay.
I believe it was the guy who earned HWP. Now, what's it called? Auto Solution. Now, I think he said it.
Glenn Smith.
Glenn Smith. Remember what he said?
Actually, I don't.
I can't remember the exact. I'm sure somebody in your callers remember. My mind's not ticking right now.
Right. Okay.
But he said something about we lie and we make no apologies for it. But I don't think they used the word lie. But it was meaning the same thing, that we're not going to apologize.
Maybe
have to lie.
Maybe it was a word closer to exaggerate.
It was a word very close to lie, but it wasn't that.
Okay.
But I'll find it and tell you exactly what the
That's cool. You know what I would really still like to know, the real ins and outs of Jetgate and Landau. We never got the full of it, and that was of such national importance. There should have been a full-fledged investigation.
That should have been a commission of inquiry.
Commission of inquiry,
was that money was paid into OBA in order for them to come in so they could be in.
And it was a money trail.
So they can get the casino loan.
Yeah, there was a money trail. There was a $300,000 money trail.
That's definitely, but that's, the PR came in, so that money didn't go into the OBA. I can't even remember it all right now.
Yeah, I can't either, but boy, it certainly raised curiosity.
Because that was a big thing, and I don't know how people can just say, okay, well.
No.
And Bonneville didn't close nobody's accounts when they took in that money.
Exactly.
Nobody's accounts got closed. And we have to seriously ask ourselves.
Yeah.
Did the OBA basically sell us out? Because rather they was, and that's another thing, they flip-flopped on the gaming.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of things they flip-flopped on, people got to say, like what they said, they deceive you, and they make no apologies for it. And I didn't see nobody dispute that. Nobody came out and said, that is definitely not the OBA, and this is false. Nobody said that.
That's
they
right.
all went along with it, and they carried on. But you know what? Sometimes when things are blatantly in your face,
Yeah.
And if cognitive decide, well, I'm still better off with this, and so be it.
Yeah.
What I don't like, don't lie about it.
Well, I agree. And, that applies across the political divide. The skeletons in the closet, if they come out and there is substantiated proof that tends to warrant investigations of any sort, I have no problem with that, because at the end of the day, the truth should always prevail. And the truth has no fence because it needs no, it has no defense because it needs no defense. It just needs to be the truth. The truth is impenetrable.
For me, I'm all for the, like sure people won't vote for the OBA. I would never pull up the radio, and my voice on the radio is never to tell people who to vote for.
Exactly.
But my voice is always to everybody stop being I don't want ignorance, and ignorance in the real sense of the word. Just lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
I mean, let's say, I know they made a fool out of us, but, I feel that's for whatever reason my choice, and if I choose not to tell you why I want it, that's my choice too. And it's all a choice. But don't say it didn't happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the part I get my little knickers in a chip. Oh no, it didn't go like that. That didn't happen. That don't.
Yeah.
It shouldn't. But that's the part that gets me. That's on both sides.
I agree.
Like you said, PLP and on the other side, and PLP don't stop. They sold on.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they do.
Yep.
I don't agree with them 100% every time, all the time.
Right.
I don't think anybody would or should.
Exactly.
If you have absolutely zero separation between you and any organization, even the church.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have a level of separation, because somebody always got to make a decision.
That's right.
And that decision means that some's going to agree and some's not going to agree.
That's right.
Should we hold service at 10 o'clock and half the people want service at 11 o'clock? There's a disagreement.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So you'll never please all the people that's the same girls all the time. And
yep.
Decisions always have to get made.
Yep.
So,
and you live by those decisions. Sometimes those decisions have unintended consequences, but you make the decisions at your peril.
If you get to a point where, that's just a bridge too far for me, then do the right thing.
That's right.
And the Bible tells you, you can get angry and all of that, but don't sin.
Mm-hmm.
And I have nothing for people for the leakers. I have nothing for the people who didn't get their early, so they're going to decide, well, I'm going to burn down the house. I have absolutely nothing for them.
That's the most cowardly betrayal. I call people like that, what was the guy's name? I can't, it's not coming to my mind, but it will. That's the ultimate betrayal.
Yeah, but that's what stopped me.
What is it? What is it? Is it Benedict Arnold?
Probably.
Yeah, I have to check it out.
Stopped me from going to PLP meetings. I got so sick of going to a meeting, and then you read in the newspaper, half of the stuff is wrong. But you know why it's wrong? It's because that's just somebody's opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody who ran to the paper or the media, they gave their, because you can have 10,000 people in a room and they all probably come up with 10,000 different things that will say or happen.
Now, you make a very, very, you make a very, very interesting point, and I'm with you 100%. And there is a difference between a leaker and a whistleblower. I have all the time in the world for a whistleblower, but for a leaker, nah. Because there's always an alternative motive for a leaker.
Yeah. I am, that's the part, that's the only reason why I stopped going to the PLP meetings. Not stop supporting them, but I have no time for that.
Mm-hmm.
And then even at Blessed Soul, I think it's passed on the Corporation of Hamilton. How they allow him to just continuously leak.
Oh,
I think Larry Scott.
The late Larry Scott, yeah, may rest in peace.
The late Larry Scott, no disrespect to him, because they said all this while he was alive.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was one of my pet peeve. My blood used to boil every time he leaked something to the,
Yeah.
Anyway, that was all. I didn't have too much to say to you, except you were right. I apologize.
No apology necessary, because I know there was nothing done maliciously or intentionally in any way. Because,
and in the press conference, if you read the very first one, it said that he was going to remain the leader.
That's right.
Until their full membership
voted.
met.
That's right.
And you said no. It's the Congress. So I actually went back and looked in their Constitution. I said, I'm right. And then the very next day, the Congress met and the membership. But you know what else I think about it? You don't see none of them out there protesting for their right to have a choice. So maybe they don't want to stay.
Well, I think
that, or they're keeping it very quiet.
Yeah, I think they're disciplined, because if they were to make it a public spectacle, no matter what was said or who was right or wrong, the controversy alone would be more harmful. So sometimes silence is golden. And sometimes
I love that about the OVA.
Yeah.
I keep saying that. I actually made a post on Facebook. One thing I love about the OVA, they are so disciplined. If any of their members are upset at being tricked, fooled, deceived, you will never know.
Yeah.
You can't get any paper. Anything you see coming out of the OVA is a PR campaign.
Yeah.
So we had to do this. If this happened, you got to do this. But they're telling us that happened just.
Yeah.
Because to me, if I was a part of that membership, and I would have came out blatantly and said the PLP was wrong.
Yeah.
Our Constitution says the membership should vote. And I think the membership should vote. I don't believe it's going to cause more harm.
Well, when I speak of harm, I mean in the context of what it is they're trying to do to achieve a victory and dethrone the Progressive Labor Party. They're looking they're looking at the perceived collateral damage, whether their assessment or prediction, perception, or whatever is correct. Yeah.
I would have blasted the PLP, because they wouldn't have been able to do that to me.
Yeah, but see, you're politically astute. I don't know of anyone that even sits on the OBA side of the House of Assembly that's truly politically astute. They deal in a lot of rhetorical
That's very disciplined with their community. Very disciplined. Like I said, even their supporters are very disciplined. You don't see none of them publicly saying I'm upset or even voicing how they feel. The only thing you hear, and that PR campaign is not for the OBA supporters,
No.
That PR campaign is to convince PLP supporters or independent or
swing voters. That's right. Correct.
That's who they're trying to convince that the PR campaign is swing voters.
Yeah.
Because all the people are absolutely silent. Now, will they stay home from the polls again? You will never know. Because I don't know what's going on behind closed doors.
Exactly.
But that's the one thing that would never allow me to take the OBA serious, because I don't only want to hurt your campaign.
Yeah.
I don't only want to hurt your PR field. I would want to know, this is real. All of this is real.
Yeah. and substantiate your position with regard to explanation, whether it is accepted or not. Just come straight.
I would have more respect for them if they would have came out and said, "This is not our standard. This is not normally how we do this." I don't know who the PR person is, but of course the PR person is probably the same as Trump. Never admit wrongdoing.
Because if they would have come out and made it a little more palatable to say, this is an exception, and unfortunately, it's something that we've had to consider and make a decision as a result of the consequence, which is that 7 of the elected members of parliament have lost confidence in the current leader.
But Glenn, you heard what they said? We are following the democratic process.
Yeah.
You didn't do that.
Yes. Yeah.
I accept the fact that you all lost confidence and all of that.
Yeah.
That makes no difference to me. But you didn't follow the democratic process.
Yeah.
You booted that man out.
Yeah.
And
circumventing their own constitution. Yeah.
You didn't follow your own constitution to boot him out. Oh, and it wasn't a backdoor. Of course it's backdoor. If you didn't follow your constitution, you did something back.
Yeah. I don't think they called him on the telephone to say, "Look, we're going to Government House."
And I don't think that, I mean, if he wasn't at that meeting where they said that, and like I said, PLP had their turn, and they didn't follow it either.
That's right.
But at least they apologized and admitted they didn't follow it.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that's all I was saying.
All right.
It was the democratic process,
right.
And it wasn't. Don't lie to me.
Yeah. I hate a liar too. All right. Enjoy your evening. Thank you so much.
Okay, bye-bye.
Oh man, she's always a pleasure to speak with, to debate, to understand her perspective. She's always extremely, I think, profound with some of the things that she observes, because at times, she comes from an angle that I'm like, wow, I didn't even think about that, but you're absolutely right. And that actually serves as a catalyst for more food for thought, whether you go about seeking that food for thought or inviting it. And I love that kind of interactive dialogue, and that's what we tend to be about here during the course of any of our live talk shows, whether it be Corey Butterfield and Willie Ferguson, whether it be Anthony Richardson or Dr. Llewellyn Simmons, whether it be Dr. Henry Dowling, Dr. D. I love it when we are able to engage our community like that and get the mirror reflection through opinion, perspective, context, etc. It all is not only informative and good for edification purposes, but good for pondering upon to decide on, well, do I believe this or does it make sense, etc., etc. At least it engages us in dialogue for us to think a little deeper and hopefully become a little bit more critical in our thinking on merit of the principle of a situation, as opposed to looking at it from the perspective of who's saying what. It's what's being said that's more important. All right. Someone has sent a note that they are looking forward to me pulling out of the archives, if I have it still. I thought I did. I'll have to check again, which was the audio with former Premier Craig Cananer stating that he would tell the country what happened with Jetgate. He actually said that. He actually promised that. Never happened. And again, I am going to do the Mary Prince before I get off this afternoon. But in the meanwhile, I'm going to share this this commentary with respect. I just think it's incredible. But Trump attacking Bad Bunny's Super Bowl performance.
I don't think today is a day when we should have to work. Super Bowl is the word un-American gets thrown around a lot lately. I cannot think of anything less American than being forced to get up and work in the morning after I ate one of those whole big Costco-sized plastic containers of pretzels with the peanut butter in them. I ate the whole thing, and it's not right that I have to do this now.
This is Jimmy Kimmel.
This is what Trump should be working on. Either make the day after the Super Bowl a holiday, or move the game to Saturday. It's too much. The Seattle Seahawks are the Super Bowl champions. They made short work of the New England Patriots last night. Quarterback Drake May became the second Drake in a row to take a beating at the Super Bowl. The Seahawks defense kept the temperature low. Most of the excitement last night came from the ads. It was maybe the weirdest year for Super Bowl commercials ever. There were like 2 beer commercials. The rest were for AI, Jesus, and Mike Tyson telling you to eat apples. I think I even saw Lady Gaga in a Pokemon commercial. But that may have been when the edible kicked in. I really don't know for sure. My favorite commercial easily was the Dunkin' ad. You see that? Because they didn't invite Matt Damon to be in it, so it's good to see something positive happen for a change. Tonight we have the brains behind the operation last night in Seattle. The head coach of the Seahawks, Mike Macdonald, is nice enough to join us here. We got all the fans lined up, and he's mingling with some of the scrubs from the halftime show. Mike will be with us shortly. As per tradition, the Super Bowl champions went to Disneyland today. You can see quarterback Sam Darnold and MVP Kenneth Walker III in the teacups. Now, that's what you want to do with 2 guys who partied all night. Put them in the teacups. The other big storyline was Bad Bunny, whose halftime performance was a tribute to the Spanish-speaking world, to culture. Bad Bunny got a bad review from our bad president, unfortunately. He wrote, "The Super Bowl halftime show is absolutely terrible, one of the worst ever. It makes no sense, is an affront to the greatness of America, and doesn't represent our standards of success, creativity, or excellence. Nobody understands a word this guy is saying, and the dancing is disgusting, especially for young children that are watching from throughout the USA and around the world." This is a man who paid off a porn star who spanked him. With his own face on a magazine, she spanked him. He's offended by the halftime. This is a guy who's okay with this being the release of the Epstein files. He is offended for the children. The MAGAverse was so hopping mad about Bad Bunny. It really is amazing how differently people can see the same thing. Half of us saw a heartwarming story of immigrants who had dreams to come to America, work hard, get married, grow up, raise families, sing, dance, play backgammon. The other half, it was like the movie 28 Days Later. It was a terrifying attack on humanity led by Jessica Alba. This organization, Turning Point USA, felt the need to put on an alternative halftime show, the All-American halftime show, headlined by Kid Rock, of course. They had high hopes for it. Ultimately, they might as well just put on the Kristi Noem Shoots Her Puppy Bowl, because this was not a good program. It went off with a lot of hitches. About a half an hour before kickoff, they posted, "Update, due to licensing restrictions, we are unable to stream the All-American halftime show on X." So they directed everyone to watch it on YouTube, which I suspect was not an easy thing for most of the angry 75-year-old grandpas to figure out. Even Donald Trump didn't watch the Kid Rock halftime show. He watched Bad Bunny. He wanted to make sure he hated him as much as he thought he would, and he did. Someone shot this video of Trump watching the game at his hotel in Palm Beach, and you can see that's the monitor. He's got a bunch of people there, and he's joined at his table by none other than, you'll see here, Senator Lindsey Graham. That is what I wish on Donald Trump. An eternity of watching football halftime shows with Lindsey Graham, trying to pretend he's not excited to see Ricky Martin. Mr. President, I don't care for this at all. Ew. Unfortunately, Don and Lindsay missed out on a Kid Rock lip sync battle with himself. I guess they had some trouble with the pre-taped audio track because Kid's lips were not exactly in step with Kid's music.
So there you have it. Just an excerpt of about an 18-minute piece that you'll find on YouTube under Jimmy Kimmel, Kimmel Live, his monologue last night, subsequent to Super Bowl 60 on Sunday. That was delivered during the opening of his late night show. We'll be back after these words with a little more before we get off this afternoon.